congratulations on this. How fun, how zany, how wild. So congrats.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of your writing and your work. So congrats. So let's go back. From my understanding, you were meeting Jerry Seinfeld in Malibu, maybe driving around in cars, meeting at a place, and it was sort of an off-handed comment about we should make a Pop-Tart movie. Can you elaborate?
Well, I recently checked my emails, and I have emails with Jerry and Andy and Barry going back to 2013, where we were talking about this story and joking about this idea. I don't think any of us ever thought we'd really make it. It was just one of those kind of comedy writer riffing things. When we're having coffee with Jerry, we'd go, hey, remember that funny Pop-Tart idea that we had? What if it was like this? What if George Clooney was the Kellogg's executive? And what if he was in Hawaii and he suddenly got called back because Post developed it? And it would just make us laugh. And at some point, I think during the pandemic, we just thought, well, since we're talking about this every couple of months, why don't we get together on a Zoom and socialize and laugh? And none of us are working. Let's write down some ideas and see if it goes anywhere. And now here we are.
I love it. It's very much like it's a mad, 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 mad world meets Blazing Saddles. So I'm curious how you guys found the right tone to bring all this zaniness out.
Well, that's a very good question. I don't think we sought tone. And here's I had to actually spend a lot of time thinking about the thing that we wrote, going, what is this and what is the tone and how did we arrive at it? And then it was very clear to me exactly what had happened. Andy and I and Jerry had all written on Seinfeld, and I realized this was just a bigger, longer Seinfeld episode with a much bigger budget. So the tone of it really is the tone of a Seinfeld episode back in the day. And if you look at Seinfeld episodes and you look at some of the characters we talked about, like Steinbrenner and the Tyson Chicken guy and, the real Kramer versus the TV Kramer, you'll see that we Seinfeldized the Kellogg's Pop-Tart Story and the world that it was in. And that's the tone, really, of the movie.
I love that. Seinfeldized. That's really good. This cast is like wicked and insane. It's like epic. Can you talk about how you came about choosing this cast? Who was really eager to get in? Who surprised you that got in?
The casting premise was always really simple. It was, we want Jerry was like, look, I would love my favorite funny people to be in this movie. And of course, my favorite funny people and Bo Bauman's favorite funny people. And we hired this really talented casting executive, Christy Carlson. And, we all got together on the phone and said, this is what we think it should be. It's a very big Netflix event movie. So we should have every part cast with names that we love. And let's try casting the biggest and funniest people in smaller parts and see if it works. And very quickly, we were surprised that people were saying yes. Hugh Grant was one of the first who we reached out to, who said, I'd love to. And, then Melissa McCarthy, then Amy Schumer. Jim Gaffigan was someone we actually... We wrote the part for right off the top. He was the only one we really knew that it's going to be Jerry and Jim Gaffigan, even though he didn't know that. So what I said to Jerry was, every once in a while someone wouldn't be available, but I said, you have the highest casting batting average I've ever seen of a director, producer, or anyone. He was at 96%. If Jerry asked, the actor would say, let's do it. And that's the first time that I've ever seen that. And every day on the set was just a delight. You'd show up to work and your SNL friends were there, like Bobby Moynihan and Bill Burr playing JFK. Every single day was so entertaining for us, and we're so grateful that this cast took the time to come and play with us.
I love that. This marks the first time that Jerry Seinfeld is directing a film.
Mm-hmm.
Did he confide in you and his feelings about that, or how he felt going into it?
He did, and this is the first time that I've produced a movie. And on one of the very first days, we closed the door and said, "Now, neither of us know how to do either of these jobs. What are we going to do?" That we confided in each other that, and the answer was pretty simple. We're going to hire the most talented crew that we could find. We're going to hire a great DP, Bill Pope, and we're gonna hire the best cast, from the movies and TV shows that we love and crew, and listen to them. We're gonna take their advice. And Jerry, even though he didn't direct episodes of Seinfeld or anything he's done since, he does sit over a director's shoulder and go, "Here's how I think we should do this." So in a sense, he had been directing all along. This was not someone who didn't know what they were doing when they walked on set. He sat with Bill Pope and some very talented kind of storyboard artists, and we storyboarded out, the trickier scenes. And it was very, very smooth. I don't know how we did it, but it was smooth. Our days were on time. We came in on budget, and I think I wasn't so surprised because I've seen him work miracles before like this, but I think everybody else was kind of surprised.
I love that.
Yeah,
my,
cool.
Yeah, from my understanding, Kellogg's didn't know that you were doing this. Is that
That's
correct?
right. They didn't. Yeah, because we never thought we were going to make it. So we didn't call up and go, "Hey, we want to make." We were just together on a Zoom, writing a funny story. And then when we decided we were going to make it, I said, "Hey, there's about 100 brands in this that are critical to the story, but I don't think we should go to them and ask permission." So, I called up a friend who was a clearance lawyer here in LA, and I said, "Am I wrong? But is this story kind of like Ford versus Ferrari in that it's something that happened publicly and we can talk about it? And I think with Jerry Seinfeld, there's no expectation of facts. People are expecting comedy." And he said, "No, that's pretty much the case." So that's how we approached the movie. Ford versus Ferrari really was the precedent for us. Something that happens in public, something that's a national story, like Post versus Kellogg's in the early 60s, and the creation of this toastable rectangle is something that you're allowed to kind of write about.
I love it. Have they contacted you since they found out?
Yes, they couldn't be happier. They could not be happier. They had been reaching out to us over the last year, and we were not, we said, just wait, just wait, just wait. We wanted to get it done, make sure it's done. And Netflix has been an incredible partner in letting us do this. I don't know any other place, by the way, that would have let us make this movie with these brands other than Netflix. And without them, it wouldn't have gotten done. And I think when you involve a brand, they're going to inevitably want to give notes, and their thing is selling product, not selling laughs, and that can always get a little tricky. But in the end, it ended up in a great place. Kellogg's, Kellanova, I think it is now, Netflix, and us, we're all happy. In fact, we were just shooting something in New York special for the movie that I think you'll see in a little bit.
I love it. Well, we're almost come up on time here. I have to just kind of flash back to Seinfeld. There were so many iconic moments in that series.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, a few of them stand out for you as some of maybe your favorites. And I'm curious if you can comment on anything about that, or why you feel like something like the Soup Nazi really took off and people just glommed onto that.
I don't know. I mean, when it comes to my own writing, I'm one of those writers who just doesn't get it. Why anyone would watch it? That's just the way I was made. But, for me, like, the contest is one of the greatest episodes of television in history. Like, when I watch that, I go, wow, there's some real genius there. And, when I was on the show, I came in on season 7. I was just kind of wide-eyed going, I can't believe I'm here with these folks. And they were really humble and down to earth. And I remember Jerry and Larry asked me at one point, "Why do you even want to write on this show?" I said, "Don't you guys get it? I think you're the only funny thing on TV right now." And they go, "Really?" They really didn't know what they were to the world yet. And I just found that charming. And again, Larry, just like Jerry, They were just laugh hunters. That's all they cared about. It wasn't who's dating who or what kind of relationship. It was like, do you have a story? Do you have something funny that we haven't heard before? And I loved that. I loved it.
That's great to hear. Thank you for sharing all that, and congratulations on this. It's wildly fun.
Thank you, Greg. Very nice to meet you.